Hey guys, good to see you. Um, I'm thinking that StreamYard has changed a few things. I'm no longer able to uh, play my little videos here, which is not nice, without subscribing. So, all right, let me get in here. Good to see y'all. Gary, you were the first one in here. God bless you for coming in, and I hope that you're feeling well. Welcome, Val. And who else is in here? Hey, Jeff. Good to see you. Sandra. Jeffy. Okay, looks okay. Weird. Okay. Yeah, I just got a message from my guest. She says she's trying with the link. It won't let her in. That is strange. Okay. All right, hold on. Talk amongst yourselves, guys. Sorry about this. Okay, there's Forrest. She's trying. Say it's not connecting. All right, yeah, because I sent her the link from a couple different places. Oh, Gary, everyone's been having trouble with a new StreamYard. Oh, goodness. Yeah, you too, Jeff. You've been having problems with StreamYard. Doggone it. Is there a... Hey, Pyro? Jeff or Gary, do you know if there's any workaround to get your guest on by any chance? Because I am... No mic. Okay. Oh. All right, let me see here. Try from your phone. Okay. Okay, easiest way to put the link in chat. Okay. Forrest, I am going to see if you can connect to it from here. If you go into the chat box, I will put the link in there and see if you can click on it from there. Yeah, hopefully this will work. Yeah, Sandy, is so good to see you in here. Really is. The shizzle. All right. Yeah, it's weird, it's not even letting me play my own introductory videos. I don't like this. And yeah, oh, doggone it. Yeah, the I guess they're going to force everyone into paying for the subscription, which is what, $40 a month. I'm on retirement Social Security, $40 a month. That's it's a little hard. So if I guess is if anyone wants to donate a couple bucks, towards a month helping Verax Restream Studio. Okay. Similar to StreamYard. Yeah. Yeah, it's the same here. It's with a link, Verax, but yeah, StreamYard, I don't know what the heck. Streamlabs. Yeah, thanks, Verax. I think I've heard of Streamlabs. Yep, Streamlabs. Doggone it. I'm really hoping that Forrest can get in here. All right, hold on a second. Let me, if all else fails, I will go to the phone. Okay, Forrest. Only available for iPhones. Oh, goodness. Apparently the, okay. I'm going to put Forrest on the phone and put her on the speaker. All right, so.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello.
Hello?
I have you on here, at least on the phone. So
yeah, you told me I couldn't get on unless I had an iPhone, and then I re-entered it, and it says no, you have to pay for it now. And I'm like, okay.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Okay, let me ask the audience. Hey everyone, can you hear Forrest? Let me know if you can hear her. Okay, they say that they can hear you great, so that's good. We'll just do it over the phone.
I am so sorry.
No, hey, then it's not your fault, and it's StreamYard. You know how technology is; they update systems and screw everything up.
Well, my ranch is kind of out in the boonies, so that might have a little bit to do with it.
Well, yeah, we'll see what we can do for next week, but I'll have to go hunting around for something else besides StreamYard because I'm not going to put up with this. But anyway, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. And yourself?
I'm doing great. Yeah, looking out the window and waiting for the deer to walk by. They usually walk by, this time in the evening.
Yeah, it's a little early for mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're still laid up because it's too hot. It's 90 degrees still out there.
Oh my, yeah. Yep. So, tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Well, I have degrees in anthropology and archaeology, and I've done a lot of study in primatology and such, and I've always had a big interest in Bigfoot, and really got into developed an interest when I was going to UT, and that's University of Texas, people. Mm-hmm. That I had a professor that was, he was actually East Indian, and he had seen Yeti in his lifetime, and he talked about them quite frequently in our anthropology classes. And I took several classes from him. And that's when I really, really developed an interest in it. And back then, I think the premise was that everybody thought it, Bigfoot would have probably come from Gigantopithecus blackie, but I think the general consensus of anthropologists that do believe in the existence of Bigfoot, they have kind of changed that idea because of the discoveries that they've made with fossils and stuff that they found of Gigantopithecus blackie.
Yeah.
We'll just call him Giganto.
Yes.
And it's a mouthful, I have to say.
Oh, goodness.
But they really relate more to an orangutan than I think what we see as being Bigfoot today. So, but they're also finding in the fossil record, and this is from recent discoveries, that there seems to be bipedalism that is showing up in several monkey and ape groups.
Oh.
So bipedalism in primates may not be as unique to man as we might like to think.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we see primates get up and run on 2 feet all the time, but they don't run anything like what we, how we traverse. So,
Now, are they doing it more often than what they normally would? Is that what that behavior is?
No, I think primates are doing it just as often as they've ever done it. I mean, you see gorillas get up and walk bipedally, and certainly see chimpanzees do it,
right.
and gibbons do it quite frequently. And but their mode of bipedalism is so different from ours, and it's due to the structure. They're actually a quadrupedal animal, so their pelvic structure is so different from ours. They can't move like a human can. And I mean, even though we stagger step, and you don't see that even in Bigfoot. Bigfoot actually has a far more, I would say, better way of going. The locomotion that they produce is more, I would say, better for bipedalism than even our own, because they have a compliant gait.
Right.
And that's why you see the straight, completely straight pathways in them when you see trackways.
Okay.
And you get this from people all the time that see them, they look like they're gliding, which they do. They don't have the up and down head bobbing movement that you get from us.
Yeah.
So
that's true. Yeah. It's like their cross country skiing is what I've thought of, like the glide.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is that type of motion. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And when you constantly hear that when people describe having seen them, that, oh my gosh, they look like they were gliding, when they were, walking.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you see that in Patty. I mean, you don't see a lot of head bobbing and a lot of upper body movement like you would with a human. And there's a much more accentuated swing of the arms with them as well. And that's something else that you don't see readily with other primates that walk bipedally, when they get up and walk bipedally or even run bipedally.
Mm-hmm.
Gibbons will hold their arms way up above their heads. It's really, they have a really funny way of going, and they're kind of comical when you watch them move. But chimps and gorillas, they hold they're very stoic when they move. They don't move. You don't see a lot of arm movement.
Mm-hmm.
And even macaques, when they run bipedally, which they've been trained to do by a lot of these when they're used as pets in the Asian homes and such, they hold their upper body and their arms completely still most of the time.
Oh.
You don't see any type of swing, so they don't need that when they move.
Right. It's fascinating. I love studying the the physiology, of their movement, and, just, not only the walk, but, the shoulders and the arms, and just the general overall, the way that their hips and knees are so unique, that, they can't lock their knees.
Right. And we do that. We do lock our knees, but it's the way our patella and our ligament structure is there in the knees, and we're designed to do that. They're not.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that, for that reason, I think it is that way, because they're still arboreal animals.
Okay.
For the most part.
Right. Yeah, they are.
And I think I have always said that, and I mean, and I always prefix anything I say with this. I could be totally wrong, folks. And it's always my opinion.
Yes.
And we know what opinions are.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's got one.
Yeah.
And so I never say I'm completely right. I just say this is what I think. So if you disagree with me, I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. We can always agree to disagree.
Yeah.
But I find Bigfoot to be an enigma of sorts, because they're like a combination of a great many unique features that are exclusive to primates. And some are very primitive, you'll find in Bigfoot. And then there's others that, like the bipedalism, that's a more modern type of evolution. So they still exhibit the longer arm structure of the other primates other than ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
They don't appear to have the locking mechanism in their knees like what we do. And they have a unique way of traveling, which we don't even have, and you don't see that in other primates. So there's things that they have evolved in that we haven't even evolved in that direction.
Yeah.
And most of it's because it hasn't been necessary for us, I don't think, to have evolved, in that fashion.
Yeah.
But, there's so many things that influence evolutionary patterns in animals and primates and ourselves. So we just have never been pressured into changing our mode of travel.
Mm-hmm. Now we have a question from Pyro. He asked, does their forward slant make a difference in the way they seem to place their feet straight down?
Are you talking about the fact that they lean forward?
Yes.
I think that very well could be true. I don't know the answer to that, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't think anybody does. We don't know. I don't have one in my garage to study, and I don't even think Mildred does. So that would be the perfect solution. But,
Yeah. Yeah. In your opinion.
In my opinion, I think that it probably does.
Yeah.
They've obviously got a different pelvic structure, right, that would allow them to do that.
Yeah.
And if you ever have watched Patty, there's a unique way that she seems to rotate that lower portion of her leg up and around,
okay,
and bring it around in front of her. There's kind of like a just ever so slight swing and around the way she moves that leg.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I think it's a combination of all those factors, pelvis, the non-locking knee, and then the forward motion of the body too.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting, along with their weight and their heavier bone structure, would have to go with the balance also.
Well, I'll tell you something else and I had pointed this out, and strangely enough, I don't know if I should bring this up. I had pointed out in a discussion that I had on another program about the fact that they have large buttocks.
Yes.
they got back. They
Yes.
do.
Yep.
Those babies have got back. And this is the reason that those large buttock muscles, those large glutes back there, and the fact that we have a butt. I hope nobody's offended by me saying that, but that's exactly what it is. The fact that we have those large glutes back there, and they do too, also contributes to the ability to walk bipedally. If you look at any other primate, they have no butt. It just drops off. It's just flat, and they don't have a butt like us.
Yeah.
They don't have the development in muscles like back there, because actually it's supposed to be technically quadrupedal animals.
Right.
They're not supposed to get up and walk bipedally all the time.
Yeah, but they seem to, I don't know what the percentage is, they've been seen running quadrupedally, and I've seen them running bipedally. I've never seen them quadrupedal though. That would be interesting. Have you? Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. The one that Jessica and I saw that was sitting out here in the middle of the highway when we were coming back from town, on my farm to market road out here. It was sitting just right. It wasn't sitting. It was squatting on the yellow striped line, and it literally after we passed it, went across the road towards my property, and we as soon as we got down the road about 50 yards, we did an immediate swing around and U-turn and came back. And I looked off to my left out the driver's window, and she couldn't actually see it because there was a reflection on her window from the lights on her dashboard. But I could see it from where I was sitting, and it was actually running quadrupedally along through the culvert, and then turned around. I mean, just did a magnificent U-turn. I mean, just and then went right over the fence into my pasture. And it was kind of hilarious because we went down to the next county road, which just kind of made a loop, and then came back to the gate. And we both sat there for a good full 2 minutes before looking at each other like, okay, who's going to get out and open the gate? And because we were both realizing, okay, that was a juvenile. And so Mom and Dad probably are somewhere close at hand.
Yes. And what'd you do? Rock, paper, scissors?
No, Jessica said, I'm quicker, I'll get out. So she ran out. And that night, the gate didn't get closed behind us. She just jumped out and jumped back in and drove through.
Oh, no.
Luckily, the horses were in another pasture, so they were locked up, so we didn't have to worry about them getting out.
That's good. Yeah. Yep. You violated the ranch creed. Uh-oh. No, wow. Oh, Hillary says, didn't one throw a can of beans at you one time?
Oh, I knew that was coming. You know what? I will never live that down as long as I live. That's still the standard joke, even on Facebook and everything else.
Okay.
And my butchers, somebody asked me what brand was it. They kept saying, Tom used to say pinto beans, and I kept correcting him. Tom, it wasn't pinto beans, it was Bush's beans. That's all I eat is Bush's beans.
Of course. What else is there other than Campbell's, and that's not even worth buying.
Yeah, and so it was kind of hilarious that it's now become the standard fare that, everybody's, let's pick on Forrest about the can of beans that she got. Yes, I got hit in the head with a damn can of beans.
Oh, goodness.
And I still have the scar right in the middle of my forehead for it. So.
Oh, my goodness. Wow. That hard.
Yeah.
What was it?
I can tell you what happened if you want to hear the story.
Yes, please. Yeah, I'd love to hear it. And I'm sure a bunch of other people would.
It's it kind of goes back to like 2 months before. I'll start there real quick. I'll give you the Reader's Digest synopsis here.
Right.
The 2 months before this, I had woke up. My house had burned down, and I had a cabin on the property, and I was staying in that. And my cabin was just like about, probably 60 feet from my barn. And I had a pole light on the north west side of the cabin, and so there was a lot of ambient light. The cabin, I didn't even have to turn a light on in there most of the time, because the light from the pole light out there would light up the inside of it at night. Well, I got woke up at like 2:00 in the morning, and there was 3 cats sitting on the counter in there, and they're looking out. And of course, now the windows in these cabins, the cabin is not very big.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're probably 2.5 feet wide by almost 3 feet in height. And so they're not great big. And I sat up in bed, and I was like, looking over at the cats, and they're all like fluffed up, and they're looking out the window, and they're growling, and my air conditioner was going back and forth. And my first thought was, one of the horses is out there scratching its behind on the air conditioner.
Yeah.
That was my first thought.
Yeah.
And so I just got up, and I walked over there and yelled, to get away from the air conditioner. And then it registered me like, wait a minute, I don't have any horses up here loose around the barn. And I'm looking out, I looked out the window, and it's completely black. And normally when I look out that window, I could see my barn,
Mm-hmm.
my big F-350 sitting out there. And I could see everything just fine because of the pole light on the other side of the cabin. And now I'm not seeing anything. It's just completely black. And I'm like looking and looking. And finally, it had actually moved just a little bit until I could see there was enough ambient light that I could actually see the pecs and muscling. And I'm like, oh my God, either I've got a man that's 3 times the size of Shaquille O'Neal standing outside my window, I could see the hair on the body at that point in time. Yeah. And it made me realize what I was looking at, because previous to this, we had seen some prints, and my guy that was cleaning the barn had found footprints and such. So I kind of had an inkling that I had some hanging around. Mm-hmm. And there have been sightings all over this countryside out here anyway. So, but I just didn't have it. I just had not anticipated me running into them in this fashion. Well, I immediately grabbed up my shotgun, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to go scare this sucker off, and run out on the front porch. And then I thought, before I got to the door, I thought, that might just be what they want.
Yeah.
So I backed up and then came in, and I was hitting on the wall with the stock of my shotgun. And that was when he really backed up, and I could see more of the body, and it was absolutely immense. And, it's like I told Will, I said, that thing must have been 4 or 5 feet across the shoulder. Yeah. It was unbelievably huge. But the thing was that I couldn't, try as I may, crane my neck, I couldn't see the freaking head, because the head was actually above the eaves of the cabin.
Oh, goodness.
And finally, it just turned, and just the most swift move of turning, and it walked very quickly past my truck. Didn't run, just walked quickly past my truck. And it was, when it passed the cab of my truck is white. I very distinctly could see that it was, the shoulders and the head were completely above the cab of my F-350 pickup.
Yeah.
And I drive a big F-350 crew cab dually. So it's a big truck.
Yeah.
And that sucker was big. And it was black. It was black. Black. And now, to the story about the beans. Okay, I don't have any more occurrences. Not that I know of anyway. And I wake up, and I, I say wake up. I likened it to coming to, is what I really felt like had happened. I sat up in bed. I just sat up in bed, and I was holding my head because my head was really hurting, and I don't think I was asleep. I think I got knocked completely senseless, and then I sat. That because that's the way I felt. That's what I always said to everybody when I came to, and I had my hand on my head, and I moved my hand. Now I haven't turned any lights on in there. My whole hand is black, and now the weird thing about it was, this is what when I sat up, this can of beans rolled down my pillow. Now, I didn't put two and two together. At that point in time with the can of beans. I just picked it up and set it on the nightstand next to the bed there. Now, you have to understand this cabin is just like kitchenette and living room, bedroom, and it was a sleeper sofa that I was sleeping on at the time. So it's all one big, huge room. And I'm like sitting there holding my head and looking at this black on my hand. And that's when I flipped the light on and I realized it was blood.
Yeah.
Well, at the same time, I look up and the front door to the cabin is wide open.
Oh, my.
And I'm like, what? I mean, I won't say what I said, but it was kind of like, what the H is this?
Right.
And the whole cabin stunk like somebody had come in there and peed all over the place. It stunk like wet dog and pee.
Yeah.
That's what it smelled like.
Oh, my goodness.
Strong urine smell. Well, I got up and I staggered over and tried to close the door. Well, what had happened, and it's still this way. In fact, the guy that helps me now on the place here, he said he's going to have to put a whole new frame in there. Door doesn't close still.
Oh,
it had pushed the door frame. And somebody asked, well, Tom was the one that asked me, well, why in the world didn't you wake up and hear it? Well, I'll tell you why. I had my earbuds in listening to a Bigfoot program. Yeah. I had gone to sleep listening to a Bigfoot program, which I won't say what it was, with my earbuds in my ears. And I didn't hear anything. I heard nothing. And so I slept through the whole occurrence. So it didn't register on me until the next, well, I should finish the story. I'm literally finding everything I can to pile up in front of the door so that I can go back to sleep and safely. Because at that point in time, I think it registered on me. But it never registered on me at that point that I got hit in the head with a damn can of beans. That beans that rolled down my pillow was what I got hit with until the next morning, and I saw the blood on the can of beans. And I went, oh, that's what happened.
Yeah, you could have been concussed.
Well, I could have been killed. Everybody said, well, if it had, I have no idea. Of course, I was sleeping, so I have no idea what exactly transpired. But I don't know if maybe I did wake up and it was in there and tossed the can of beans because it was looking at stuff, because I don't remember the can of beans being left on the counter. So
it was rooting
maybe it was rooting through the cabinets. I don't know. And something woke me up and it just tossed it and I got clobbered with it, But it wasn't the big one that came in, because that sucker couldn't have gotten through that door.
Yeah.
It had to have been a juvenile that had come in there. So I think I probably scared it probably as bad as I do. I don't think it was anything. I honestly never thought that it was something done intentionally. Because you know what? If it was intentional, I wouldn't be here telling you this story right now.
Exactly. You'd be dead. And from what my own experience of having various things thrown at me, by them. They don't intend on hitting you. I've only been hit once, and that was because a rock ricocheted back at me and hit me. But every rock and tree limb has always hit off to the side.
Well, I had a film crew out here a few months back. Well, it's been about a year now. And as they were leaving out the gate, they were up at the gate laughing because they were having, I don't know why it was difficult, but they were having a difficult time getting the chain and the latch back like it was supposed to be on the gate up there. And we had walked the whole property and everything. And Jessica and I were actually sitting out underneath the big oak tree in the backyard. And all of a sudden, kabang, a rock just out of nowhere flew and hit the trailer. I have a mobile home now.
Yeah.
And it just came up and kabang, and hit the side of the, and they heard it way up the driveway. That's how loud it was. Because I got a phone call later. Was that a rock thrown? And I was like, yeah. I said, because I was like, yeah, because Jessica and I both said, okay, I think it's time to go in the house.
Oh my, yeah. If they're whatever it was getting upset maybe with the company going around, who knows? Jeez. Oh my. No, it's
Well, the only time I see anything that really I would call aggressive behavior is when if there's a male that shows up here. I mean, and I don't have a boyfriend or anything like that comes around. So my husband's been deceased now for 17 years. And I do have a young man that comes and helps me with the barn chores and such, but he's gone by, he's never here after dark.
Mm-hmm.
So, but the times that I have seen or had anybody that was a male here after dark, they don't like it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's a little telling right there.
Well, yeah, it's almost like you feel kind of like they've laid claim to me, you know?
Yeah.
And primates will do that too.
Yeah.
With human females, yes. Yeah, that's a little bit scary, actually.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, especially if it's breaking in through the door. Now you're in a trailer now.
Right, a mobile home. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I have had problems with the back door, and somebody sent me an alarm to put on the door. And I had for a while been keeping track of when I was hearing the alarm go off. And so, but the first time that it went off, I'm not kidding you, because all they have to do is jiggle the door and then the alarm goes off. But they have to jiggle the door and the handle. And it sounded like I had a herd of elephants falling off the back porch.
Oh, it didn't like the alarm, huh?
No.
Well, good. Unless it retaliated.
Well, no, I haven't had any retaliation, but I have since cleared everything because now, we here in Texas here, we were part of that complete eclipse.
Yeah.
And the day of it was April 8th of 24. And we had a barbecue out here, and I had multiple people out here, but 4 of us, I had a juvenile in the backyard, and it actually jumped up and ran around the corner. And before a friend of mine's son could even get to the front so he could see where it was going to, it was up and over my 7-foot fence, because I had put a 7-foot fence completely around this yard.
Yeah. And that's the way.
And I mean, we four people saw that one.
Wow.
I mean, I'll never forget. A friend of mine, she just said, "Did I just see what I thought I saw?" I said, "Yes, you did."
Was she a believer before?
Well, she believed that they probably existed, but she just had never seen one. She was definitely a believer when she went home.
I'd say so. Oh.
And I was relating the story to somebody at work, and it was one of the managers, and she kept laughing about it. And I'll never forget, Angela came around the corner and she says, "I was there. I saw it too. So don't laugh." It was real.
Oh my. Yeah, yours, whenever I lived over at my other property, there was one that kept coming around, and I think he was a little possessive of me. My husband was there, but he worked so much, long hours, and he wasn't there for a lot of the time. And so I think it got a little possessive of me. But the only time that he always kept out of sight. Well, I saw him twice, peeking up over the wall behind the house, and then another time whenever he pissed me off, and I chased after him with my golf club. And that one is my famous story that everybody likes to hear.
Oh my! Mary and the golf club.
Yes.
Well, he probably has been watching you a lot more than what you probably think that he has.
Oh, yeah. Well, my dog would always alert me whenever he was out there. And so I knew that he was out there. It's just that one time I had it, up to here, and, with him, because my dog was so terrified. And I had adopted her, and she had been abused, most likely by her previous owner. And she was so terrified whenever he was around, it just pissed me off that he was doing it to her and scaring her, that I just jumped off. My temper went whoo, and I just grabbed the first thing that was sitting by the door, and there we go. But he went running up over the hill. He ran away. Thank God.
Well, that one that I told you about down here by the round pen, which was 2.5, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
My dog nearly took after, and of course, I have a Belgian Malinois, and fear is not in the vocabulary. Yeah. So she almost tried to take after that one, and I was yelling and screaming at her.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I would not have even noticed him. I was late. I had gotten a phone call, and I was late getting out to feed the horses. So it was getting dark when I went down there, and it was standing right by my round pen, and and Lagatha was going to take after it, and I was like screaming at her when I realized what I was looking at there. And it was black too. And it turned around and actually ran back and went over the fence into the neighbor's property. And but they haven't been back there because their house burned down on the 4th of July.
Oh my!
So, their kids got a little crazy with the fireworks and burned their house down.
Oh.
So and so. Their property adjoins mine, but their house is way back on the back side of their property. So there hasn't been anybody back there. And so they may be traversing coming through that way now.
Yeah. They're taking advantage of it. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And see, I'm not too far from state parks out here.
Mm-hmm.
So to the west of me, that's all there is the lakes, and all the state parks are out there. And they've had lots of sightings out there around Buchanan Dam and that area too.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah, they well, perfect area. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Perfect. My goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a shame that what your former university instructor from East India, that it's probably he's probably no longer around.
Well, probably not. If he is, he's quite aged probably now. So,
yeah.
But I don't think he's still, as far as I know, he's probably not teaching any longer.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, for you to let him know about the Bigfoot, and since he
he'd
saw
probably
Yeti,
be thrilled to death. Yeah,
he probably would. I'll bet. Wow. Now, in your studies, where all did you travel? With as with your studies of both anthropology and archaeology.
Well, my archaeology I did down in the Four Corners region, because I got my archaeology degree in Utah. And so I did all my archaeology field work and such down in the Four Corners region. And I don't have any Bigfoot stories to tell you about there, although they do have lots of sightings in Utah.
Yeah.
They do. Up Provo Canyon, and boy, do I wish I was there now. But anyway, up Provo Canyon and up there in the Wasatch Range through there. So, and the Uintas. But, I did archaeology there, and then I actually worked for a company out of Dallas that I did professional archaeology for a while. I'm not. I will honestly say I've done no field work in regards to my anthropology. I mean, granted, it came in handy with my archaeology, sure, but they go. Both those fields go hand in hand. You've got to have a little bit of both to to do either profession. But I did mainly archaeological, sites and such as that. Mm-hmm. So we did all the groundwork for when you got companies coming in. There's federal requirements that you have to have archaeologists come in and do surveys and possible mitigation on the properties if there's sites found and such. So, and I did all the groundwork and archaeological work for Lake Ray Roberts north of Dallas there. So, and then a lignite coal mine out in East Texas. And I could tell you the story about the time I got lost out there.
Oh.
And I actually was thinking, what, could I possibly run into Bigfoot out here? Because it's, if anybody's ever been in East Texas, it's like, the whole, the coverage and stuff is entirely different than what it is here, because the canopy there is just almost, it totally encloses you with all the pine trees and such.
Yeah.
And the day before, we'd had somebody break into our, his Suburban, and they stole our coats, and all of our compasses were in there. Oh. And I did not have a compass that day, and we were walking transits, and I don't know, I got turned around, but I suddenly realized, when I see these stories about people getting lost, how did they do that? Well, let me tell you how you can do it. It's real easy how you can do it. Yeah. Because I have a real good sense of direction, and all of a sudden I was like, I think I'm going in circles.
Yeah, especially if you're under the canopy like that.
Yeah, you can't see. Yeah, and it was an overcast day on top of that. Oh. And I thought, okay, I just found a log, and I sat down, and I just I just kept saying, hello, hello. And finally, one of my team members found me. I was the crew chief. And boy, what an example I set that day. Yes, your crew chief is lost.
Oh, my. Wow.
So my crew went and bought me a compass the next day.
Well, good. That's a lifesaver right there.
Oh, yeah. I would never go anywhere now without a compass in hand.
Goodness.
Yes. And a whistle. Whistles are important too.
Yes, they are. Yeah. For rescue. Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Hillary, she asks, did you have any encounters when you lived in Alaska?
With Bigfoot?
Yes.
With the hairy man?
Yes.
No, I did not. I lived vicariously through Fred in that regards.
Oh, okay.
I had lots of bear encounters, but no hairy man encounters.
Yeah, I'd rather run into a Bigfoot than a bear.
Well, I'm not so sure either one of them would be real desirable. I never had any problems with the bears. Usually most bears don't really want anything to do with you. Yeah. But they learned a long time ago that human interaction is not a good thing. So, but the hairy man, on the other hand, that's a different beast entirely up there. It is, seriously.
Yeah.
Now I had some people in BC one time. They related some sightings to me that they had seen one across the road. We were sitting in a cafe, and they were telling me about it up at Laird Junction, and it was interesting. I mean, but it was secondhand information. So they're all over up through BC and the Yukon territories, and they're all over Canada. Period. But I think there's much more of a highly populated the area of BC, Alberta, and they probably got a high population of them. Mm-hmm. Probably all the way up into the Yukon there, and then definitely into Alaska. But those guys up there, they grow. It's nothing for you to hear people talk about them being 10 foot, 12 foot, 15 feet tall. Yeah. Oh, my. Yeah, much bigger than around here. Although I have seen a 10-footer around here, but yeah, they're something like that out in Alaska and the Yukon area. Yeah, that would be more normal for there. Wow. Yeah, the only thing that I ever heard, and this was third-hand information, and it came through my husband, and I wish he was alive to tell the story, because he could tell you the whole thing that he heard. He had gone hunting, and I don't remember now whether it was the guide or somebody else that was there telling the story, but now they weren't talking about Bigfoot. They were talking about a giant that one of the big trophy hunters that hunted in this particular area up there in the Wrangles, out in eastern Alaska. And this is where they get these big doll sheep, and they're all big trophy sheep and such. Yeah. And he was up there hunting, and he had seen something moving up a mountain across the way. And of course, these guys hunt with these binoculars that are unbelievable. I mean, you can practically, it's like the thing is right in front of you when you look through these binoculars. And it was a giant going up the other side of the mountain. And you've probably heard about these things with the tusks and everything else on them. Yeah. 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 And my husband was listening to this story, and here they are out in kind of sort of the same area. And he's like, he came back and he said, I'm not going hunting anymore out there. And we're talking about a military guy. He had no interest in going back out there. He said, "That's not something I want to run into."
Oh, goodness,
because
no.
They're talking about something that was like 20 feet tall. I mean, you can't even bring that down with, I don't think, an elephant gun. No. So,
Oh my, no, no. Yeah, I remember talking with, do you know Duke from World Bigfoot Radio?
I don't know him personally. I've listened to him. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, he's in Montana, and he's told me about that he's heard and seen some 15, 20 footers out there also, and you can believe it, boy. That's
I believe it. Yeah. There's not a lot of people up there in Montana.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, that's.
I wouldn't want to run into one.
No.
I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Yeah. No, thank you. No, thank you to that.
Get right with Jesus real quick.
Oh, goodness. There we go. Yeah. Amen. Man. Now, yeah, you've seen, oh goodness, yeah, you have them right there on your ranch. Do you keep a journal, or is it useless practically to keep a journal of what's going on and behavior and so on?
Mary, I try to, but you know what? I'm like a lot of people. I'm not too diligent about doing what I should be doing.
Believe me, I know. Yes.
You know as well as I do.
Yes.
It's like
Yep.
Oh, I should have done that. I should have written that down. I should have written that date down. Yep. Oh yes. When was that? Yes. I know exactly what. Yeah. I do have, in fact, I was looking at it before you called what I had written down, and I was thinking to myself, I really need to update this.
I know that, I keep, things go on, and, I'll hear vocals or something else going on. And I think, oh, okay, I've got to write that down. But, it's, I immediately forget about it. And
well, now I'm going to ask you something. Now,
yeah.
I have only heard this one time, and in the springtime and fall of the year here in Texas, we don't usually use AC or anything. We just throw the windows open because the weather's so nice.
Right.
And I used to have my bed right up next to the two big windows I have in the bedroom. I don't anymore. And there's a good reason for that, because I was sitting there one night reading, and I heard, what people talk about, the samurai chatter?
Yes.
That was the one and only time I've ever heard that.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
it sounded way too close. It sounded like it was just in the cedar bricks just not too far from the house.
Mm-hmm.
And that was kind of in the area where you've probably heard the story about the figure 8 that I found. Well, actually, I didn't find it. It was a fence builder that found it, because he came and got me. He says, I need you to come over and look at this. And at the time, this friend of mine was at the house, too, because she used to keep her horses out here. And she moved to Arkansas, and you really need to talk to her, because they had some real serious situations where they moved to in Arkansas.
Oh,
but we went over there, and I mean, you could see, I'll have to send you the pictures, perfect beat down figure 8s in the dirt. It's like something had been walking in circles. And at that point in time, I had a dog pen over there in that corner.
Mm-hmm.
And I kept I had a black German Shepherd that I used to keep. It was a big pen, and he had a kennel and everything, a doghouse to get into. But this dog had literally dug a hole down underneath into the ground, and a burrow where he had to go down and then turn you couldn't even see him in there.
Oh.
And I thought, why in the world? What are you doing, Cagney? And right behind his kennel was this path that had beat into a figure eight. And that was where I was hearing this samurai chatter.
Wow.
And that was the first and only time that I have ever heard that. And so
Interesting.
that was kind of disconcerting. It really was. And I
Yes.
actually ended up moving my dog from that area, and I felt so bad because I thought something had been harassing him for him to do what he did.
Yeah,
because his doghouse was actually backed up to that fence line, and so I was like, oh my gosh, I really felt bad for my dog. So I moved him and put his kennel right within eyesight of my back door.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, poor guy. Oh, yeah, I'd love to see that photo.
Oh yeah, I'll send you the photos of it and I had not noticed it. I would not have noticed it had he not come and got me. And I mean, we both, Sherry and I both just kind of looked at each other like, what in the world? And the guy was just like, it looks like something's just been going around and around and around and around out there. And it, wasn't accessible to my horses. So, they didn't do it. And a deer would have no reason to do anything like that.
Right. Now, pacing would be, I don't think it would be in a figure eight. It'd be more back and forth, but I don't know. Just.
Yeah, I don't, well, there was actually a guy over in Nevada that found some similar type of, he'd actually seen a Bigfoot doing such as that over in Nevada.
Oh, really?
And yeah. And the pictures that I saw of his looked almost identical to what I had out here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. There's another behavioral issue or just a data point. Huh. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what goes through the mind of a Bigfoot. I'm not a Bigfoot psychologist.
No.
And, I don't know if any anthropologist, not Meldrum or anybody else, is brave enough to go trooping around in the woods trying to follow a troop of them to analyze their behavior either. So, because you and I have talked too many times that I liken their behavior or misbehavior, whatever you want to call it, to that of a chimpanzee, which is my least favorite primate.
Yeah.
And they would frighten me. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, goodness. Yeah. Another friend of mine, he's a primatologist in a zoo in North Carolina. He used, way back when he studied in Africa with Jane Goodall.
Oh,
and, he told me quite a bit about the chimpanzees there that, they made the mistake of feeding them at first. And, he said their behavior changed and they were getting pretty aggressive. So they had to, of course, stop that. And,
a lot of people don't know that she was nearly killed on 2 occasions by a male chimpanzee.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, they're dangerous, just downright dangerous.
Well, I mean, I told you about my experience. I mean, your stupid college student goes in and I'm nobody bothered to tell me either. I was too dumb to ask because I didn't know any better. Walked in and thank God they were just yearlings. But I mean, even in a group like that, they have the alpha and the subordinates. So I was handing out fruit and this, that, and the other. Well, I was giving it to the subordinates, and the alpha just didn't like that. And he came up and bit me right on the my arm, and I was just like, of course, if that had been an adult, I wouldn't even have had an arm. It had just ripped it off,
Yes.
So
Yeah. Along with everything else. Oh my.
yeah. So
Wow.
no,
Wow. Oh my.
that was when I was like, can I go work with the macaques, please?
Yeah, and here people keep them as pets and dress them up like children, treat them like children until they do become adults. Then they find out, yeah, they're not toys.
Well, and most of the ones that you see on TV now and in movies and such, when you do see them, are bonobos because they're far more manageable. And, the bonobos are kind of funny. They solve everything. If there's a disagreement within a troop, they solve everything with sex, and then I'm serious as heart attack. And then everybody's happy and, sitting around, yeah, okay, we're cool, no problem.
There we go.
So they're nothing like the standard chimpanzee.
Well, let's see. Violence, ripping, decapitating, ripping, etc. apart, or sex. Okay.
Yeah. So I'll go with the bonobos. Thank you.
Yeah. Just not with me. With each other.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Oh, heavens. But and they're smaller too, and they're more manageable. They're considered a pygmy chimpanzee. So
okay.
But
yeah, they now are they the ones that they were more recently discovered?
No, you're talking about the billy ape, and they're not nice. They're not nice. They're even worse than the standard chimpanzee.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I was trying to think. No, it wasn't bonobo, but no, it was the billy ape. Yeah,
it's the billy ape.
They were nicknamed cannibals, weren't they?
Well, they're called the lion killers, and for good reason. Yeah. They have no problem taking on leopards, lions, or anything else, and the natives, God, why would we possibly listen to the natives? I mean, like they don't know what's going on in their forest. In the jungle where they go all the time, maybe they might know a little bit more than these primatologists and such that, get their degrees and sit behind a desk and think they're smarter than everybody else. But anyway, they kept telling people that there was this giant ape out there that did like to walk bipedally quite frequently. And they do. And they look different from chimpanzees. They tend to be of a gray color more than the strictly black color. And when they stand up, they're well over 6 foot tall. So go figure. Yeah, that's what I thought. It's been quite a while since I went into, studied the belly apes, but wow. Yeah. And so they've now since discovered them, and even though they'd been discovered a long time ago, they just have been recognized by science now, and they look like chimpanzees, except that they do have a sagittal crest, somewhat not as defined as that what you would find on a gorilla, but they do have their skull does have a slight sagittal crest, and which is different from the standard chimpanzee, and of course they're so much larger, and they're even more vicious, and they show no fear, and they bed on the ground like a gorilla. Yeah, I thought that that they had ground nests. Yeah. So they do share some qualities with gorillas, but they're chimpanzees. Yeah, that's something, and it's
Man, they would be fascinating to study and do a.
Well, Mary, you feel free, honey. You just feel free.
Oh, no, thanks. That's.
I'll be an armchair.
Yeah, 40 years ago, yeah, that would be fascinating.
Well,
but
yeah, there's a lot of things that I would do if I was 20 still.
Yeah.
Or even 30, but not now.
Yeah.
I can't run that quick anymore.
You and me both. Nope,
So
can't do it.
I am perfectly satisfied to be an armchair anthropologist and archaeologist. So I try to keep up with everything. But I mean, the discoveries nowadays are just, unbelievable that's coming in. And the things that they're finding out now with evolution and even the evolutionary pattern of man, it's not a tree, it's a damn bush. And, it's amazing is what it is.
It's amazing and fascinating. And Melvin has a question, and I'm not sure if he's asking about the billy apes, which I assume he is. He asks, do they have 5 fingers and toes?
Oh yeah. I've never seen or heard of additional like 6 fingers or anything like that.
Yeah.
Or even a lack thereof. With now I've seen some primates born. They have birth defects just like we do.
Yeah.
They're born without hands or I saw a little macaque the other day that I was watching. It was born actually in a zoo situation, and she has what we call lobster hands in humans. And I actually had a friend that had a grandson that this happened to, and it's where the second and third fingers, index finger and the third finger, they're fused, and then the fourth finger and the little finger are fused together, and it actually looks like that's why I call it lobster hands. It kind of looks like lobster claws.
Yeah.
And this little macaque had it too. But she was quite dexterous. She got around and got her food and all that sort of stuff. She'd learned to, animals have a marvelous way of dealing with their disabilities where, we let it limit us.
Right.
They don't. They learn to, work around it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, they have to be very adaptable. Well, for survival, they have to.
But I have heard of, I know that it occurs in some other animals that were, especially polydactyl cats and such, that they usually, with the multiple toes, it's from inbreeding that you see that. And so I'm not saying that it doesn't occur. Yeah. I've just never seen it. I've never seen it. And I've never seen it reported. So that's not to say it doesn't happen, because it might.
Right. Now that kind of brings me to another question. I'm sure you've heard of the 3-toe prints that have been found. Do you think that is a different type of Bigfoot, or a genetic mutation of some type, or just a completely different creature?
I've heard of that, and I think it could be all of the above. It could be an entirely different. And I'm not trying to escape the question.
Yeah.
I'm just saying I don't know. It could be a mutation. It's not something that you commonly hear of.
Yeah.
So it could very well just be a mutation. I mean, you get some of these groups, and a lot of it's been from pressure from humans, forcing them into smaller areas.
Right.
And so you possibly run into inbreeding.
Okay.
And nature, most of that is avoided because the male will usually run his male offspring off.
Yeah.
And so you don't usually have that occurring in nature normally. I'm not saying that it doesn't, because I'm sure it does periodically, but when we force animals into a smaller and smaller area, inbreeding is going to happen, unfortunately. So that could be caused by it. So these mutations would, occur. And it very well possibly might be something that's an entirely different animal altogether, too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never seen one, and I've never seen a track like that either. So,
okay. Yeah, I've seen photos of the tracks, but that's about it. Yeah, very unusual, but God knows what it is. Because that's all you see is just the track, not what made them. Now, what do you think about the dog man?
well, that is a different beast altogether, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. You've had too many. I thought at first that it was something that, when I first heard about it, I'll be honest with you, I thought, oh boy, people's imaginations have really gone wild. But, when you hear more and more and more about it,
Mm-hmm.
you have to start taking notice of it, that, not everybody's seeing, having the same hallucinations. So I've seen the pictures of the Beast of Seven Shoots. Have you ever seen that?
Yes.
Now, this is my idea on it. I think that it represents another variety of Bigfoot that is probably akin more to a baboon type.
Yes.
Because you see the more prognathism and the more nasal prognathism, which I'm referring to like a muzzle-like type.
Right.
Now, whether or not that is the dog man that people are seeing, I don't know, because when you hear some people talk about dog man, that particular animal, the Beast of Seven Shoots, does not exhibit the canine type of appendages that we hear other people talk about, where they actually look like upright walking dogs.
Right.
Or wolf-like. Canine, something that's actually canine.
Yeah. With what is that you call that, plantigrade?
Yeah. But I think that like the Beast of Seven Shoots, which you hear some people talk about, they see these Bigfoot with more of a muzzle with the prognathism.
Right.
I think that is a different variety of them, is what I think. And it's more akin to like the baboon type.
Yeah.
But the dog man, I think we're talking about an entirely different beast. That's not something I necessarily would ever want to run into.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, no, thank you.
Because they talk about an upright ear.
Mm-hmm.
Like and all the Bigfoot, like a dog, a wolf. Your Bigfoot sightings, you never hear about upright ears. That the ears are just like humans; they're next to their head.
Yeah.
Lying on their head, next to their head. Even the Beast of Seven Shoots, I don't see a upright ear on them.
No.
But you, I don't know. That's a scary thought. And oh gosh, what was it? Brer Road? Was that where they first had the reportings?
Yeah, the Beast of Bray Road. Yeah.
Yeah, was it Bray Road? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I actually have a friend that lives not too far from there, and she said that people out there see sightings of these things all the time out there.
Yeah.
And I would think if I was, I'd almost be looking to move someplace, I think. I can handle a Bigfoot. I don't know
Yes.
about that.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, a friend of mine, she's normally here in the chat, but she isn't tonight. She and a couple other friends were, they go to Land Between the Lakes quite frequently in Kentucky. And I think this was in the spring, this spring, March, I think it was. They were there and they took a video. It's a FLIR, from a FLIR of a dog man, but it's a female and possibly carrying a little dog baby toddler. And you can see it fairly clearly on this FLIR. It's moving around, and it was standing back in the brush about, I'm trying to remember, someone in the chat, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was about 30 yards away, but it was back in the brush across a creek. And, they were just riding around, and they stopped and heard a sound and put the FLIR up and spotted it, and then started filming or videoing. And crazy, it's that video has been on, I think, quite a few different podcasts.
I'd love to see that video. Now, when you say it was carrying an infant,
Yes.
Was it carrying it in its mouth like a dog does, or was
No.
it carrying like a primate?
Carrying it like a primate.
Oh, that's weird.
Yes, I know. I'll send you the video.
Oh. Well, I'll tell you something that's really kind of weird. I was doing some investigation on Land Between the Lakes, and on my father's side, his great-grandfather actually used to own quite a bit of the land out there in Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
At the Land Between the Lakes. It was part of their plantation out there.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that weird?
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it down there. I go down, I've been down, 3 times, I think, and no, I love it. I've had different types of encounters every time, and it's just fantastic being there.
Well, now I have driven around there, and it's spooky out there at night.
Oh, yeah. Oh, definitely, yes.
Really spooky.
Yep.
You wouldn't. I wouldn't be roaming around in there by myself.
No. Yeah. I usually arrive like a day or so before everyone else arrives, because I like to get in there alone into the camping area, and I usually have something happen, like something walking around, more vocals or something, but it's frightening, but I just love it there.
Oh, now, do you camp in an RV or do you camp in a tent?
I have camped in a tent there, but most of the time it's in a vehicle, a van, or in the back of my pickup truck.
Yeah, because I just remember that incident where the which they say it was a dog man that came up and attacked that family out there.
Yeah.
And it actually pulled 2 of them out of an RV.
The RV, yeah. I have been on that actual site, a few times.
Well, now, isn't it true that they have there's like a line of demarcation out there where the Bigfoot stay on one side and the dog men stay on the other?
Yeah.
It's kind of an unspoken agreement.
It's an unspoken agreement, and I'm trying to remember. It's the highway that runs east-west. They usually won't go across that into one another's territory. I can't remember what the highway number is, but yeah. It's a fantastic area, beautiful, and but doggone it, it's at nighttime. Yeah, it gets a little scary. Early morning, oh yeah.
Well, you're a braver soul than I would be. I don't think I would go out there by myself. You do take a weapon, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Now I feel better.
Oh yeah. Yep. Yeah. So, what other stories of other than getting bonked on the noggin with a can of beans?
Now you've set me up for all of your people. Oh God.
Yeah, well, whatever. Have they been peeking in? You're in a mobile home now. They peek in your mobile home now also?
You know what? I know that they do.
Yeah.
I have changed some things around in here in the mobile home. I moved I have a Belgian Malinois, and I have to kennel her at night in the house.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I won't have anything left. The curtains will come down. She's always got to be busy tearing up something. They're called alligators for a reason. I love my dog. Don't get me wrong. But they never wear down. They don't even know when to sleep. But anyway, I had her in the bedroom, and I was actually on the phone talking to Chuck one time, and I saw a movement in the window, and Lagatha did too. And I watched that dog melt into the floor.
Oh.
Yeah. And I actually heard growling at the window.
Huh.
And that particular window, the way the mobile home sits, I'm on a incline, and that's the high side. And the window is actually a good, I'm 5'6", and I can't look in my window. I can stand right by the window, and I cannot look. I would have to get up on a stepladder to look in my window.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was, I realized then that they probably do a lot of window peeking when I'm probably asleep.
Yeah.
Too, and don't even know they're out there.
Now, are there screens on the outside of that covers the entire window?
Oh yeah, I have screens on everything.
Okay.
And now I have noticed this time of the year, the fall and early spring, I get a lot of activity around here.
Yeah.
And I have noticed in the last few nights that Lagatha has been barking and it's almost always at 2 or 2:30 in the morning. And where her kennel is, and I fixed it that way so she could look out the window. She can see out the front. And I can walk in there without a flashlight or anything and just look to see what she's looking at. And she's looking out that window. She's seeing something out there. And I haven't ever caught it yet, but I will at some point in time, probably.
Oh, yeah.
But she sees it because she'll be in there. I'll first hear her growling, and then she'll start barking.
Yeah. Now, do you have a patio door or something like that also? I
have a front door with just steps, and then the back. I have a back porch and
just a regular door.
Steps. Yeah, just regular porch and steps.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because a friend of mine They live maybe an hour or so from me in the Allegheny National Forest. They have Bigfoot that come around on their property just about on a nightly basis. And they will regularly find handprints, nose prints on their windows and on their patio door. Just on a regular basis. The one night I was supposed to stay in the back bedroom, but middle of the night I changed my mind and went out to the living room and slept in the recliner. But came in the bedroom in the morning and there's handprints and nose prints on that window. I guess he thought that I was going to be in there.
I have never had anything like that occur. The only time I ever saw a handprint was on I have a cat house down by the old house that for my cats, and I've since moved them all up to here, but the cat house is still down there intact and everything. But back when I had cats in there, and I kept that front door locked, you had to go in the door, and it was like a section there where I stored my cat food, and I had a refrigerator and such in there if I needed to have medicine for him, anything for him. And then the next, you went through another door, and then another door, the one door into the interior, which was in a completely enclosed area for the cats, and then you went out the other door, and it went out into their play area, which is about 16 feet by 14 feet in there, and it was a screened-in play area. And in fact, there was actually an incident down there, and I didn't tell you about that, but I was not a participant in this, but back when my grandkids were actually living in this mobile home, they had it was actually Christmas Eve, and I had gone to Colleen to my daughter's house, and my granddaughter and her husband were here in the mobile home, and they were going to have a barbecue, and they were barbecuing stuff outside, and his parents, his mother and her boyfriend were there, and Ashley did not allow them to smoke in the house. And they were sitting outside on the tailgate of the truck smoking. And this was well into the night. And Devin had moved some wood up near the gate where he was feeding into the his pit there where he was barbecuing. And when they got through smoking, and I always kept the light on in the play area. I kept it on 24/7 for the cats, but I always kept the front door locked.
Yeah.
And they were walking back over to the mobile home from where they parked, and it's probably, I guess, about 30 feet, and she stumbled and hit over a piece of a log that was laying there that Devin had. She just didn't see that Devin had laid there, and she stumbled over it and stumped her toe. Ken let out a yell, and about that time, evidently, there was one down by the cat house looking into the screened area. It was actually standing there with its hands on the. Now the screening is what we used was basically, it was non-climb fencing that we used in there to cover the screened in area. It's not like regular screening on a window screen. It was this non-climb fencing. So the squares are like maybe 2 by 4 inches, and nothing that they could get through. Of course, not even a cat can get out of them. But it was standing there with its hands kind of above its head with its fingers through the screening, looking at the cats. And they would not have noticed it had they not, she hadn't stumped her toe. And I guess it startled it, and it turned around and looked at them and then took off running towards the back of the property. And she and her boyfriend saw it. And so that was a little disconcerting. And then it wasn't too long after that, a week or two later, that Devin was leaving to go to work at 5:30 in the morning, and he had gone through the gate, opened the gate, drove through, and then got out of his truck to go and close the gate behind him, and went and was in the process of getting back in his truck when one of them came over the fence. I have an alleyway that's built off of the highway there. And because I have a big 6-horse trailer when I come in, and I think we measured it was like 52 feet from the front of my truck to the back end of my trailer. That's how. So we made sure that was enough that I could pull in there, and I'd be completely off of the road there, so somebody wouldn't be, clobbering me, when I was trying to get into my property. So we made a little alleyway there, so indention into the property, and so he was closing the gate and going back to get in his truck, and it came over the fence, jumped over the fence, and then ran across in front of him quadrupedally, stood back up, and then jumped the other fence on the other side, and then ran off. And he called my granddaughter back and said, "Make sure all the doors are locked, because you're not going to believe what I just saw."
Oh my.
So, but that's actually been probably 10, 12 years ago when that happened.
Yeah.
So they've been around here, lurking around here all this time. So, and they probably, the one thing I should have prefixed the whole conversation with, I was a little girl, which was a long time ago. My granddaddy, they owned this ranch, and my granddaddy would not let me go out after dark. That was absolutely forbidden because of the woolly boogers.
Okay.
And I was always like, what the heck is a woolly booger? And I will honestly tell you that nobody ever gave me a real good definition of what the woolly booger was. It was kind of like, you just, listen, I told you that there's a woolly booger out there, so you believe it and you don't go outside, okay? Okay, Daddy Tab, no problem here. Yep. Woolly boogers are no-goes. Yep. Okay. Yep. So I did not do that. Now, here's the other funny thing. Well, it wasn't funny for my grandmother. After my grandfather passed away, and I think it was 88, John, what we ended up having to do was put halogen lights, those big halogen lights, on every corner of the house, the old house.
Yeah.
Because my grandmother was constantly complaining about having window peekers, that somebody was peeking in the windows.
Yep.
And you know what? We have illegals that traverse this place all the time. So I'll be honest, when I was younger and my mother was still alive, we honestly thought that it was my grandmother's imagination, and it was probably just illegals coming through here. That's what we thought.
Yeah.
And you know what? I kind of feel bad now, because I don't think that was what it was at all. I mean, yes, we have illegals coming through here, but they're not, I haven't had any of them window peeking, but I think that was exactly what she was seeing, and she just didn't know how to relate it any other way.
Yeah, probably, yeah. And she may have only seen the eyes, or else she was afraid to describe them any further beyond that, other than window peekers.
Well, a lot of older people, they don't talk about such as
No.
that.
No.
Yeah, because people think people will try to make fun of them and say, "Oh, they're crazy," and this, that, and the other.
Yep.
And I think I've reached that point in my life that, frankly, Scarlett, I don't give a damn. But
Yep, same here. Same here. Absolutely. Yeah, I'll
So-
talk about anybody and everyone. But wow. Yeah, my dad would always tell us, don't go outside after dark, whenever we lived on the farm, because of the boogeyman. Which was probably the same thing.
Yeah. It was just that they used in the South, you will hear it very commonly used, the woolly boogers,
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, I didn't know what a woolly booger was, but it sounded pretty bad. So I wasn't going to argue with my daddy Cap because, as far as I was concerned, he was the smartest man on the face of the earth. So
Absolutely.
he said there was a woolly booger out there. I was going to take his word for it, and I wasn't going to go out.
Absolutely. Yep. Whatever Dad says, that's it.
Yep.
Yeah. My dad. He not only said that, but later on he also told me about. He really didn't go into detail, but he talked a little bit about the hairy man, or the wild man, and that they were around. But again, he didn't go into detail, unfortunately. So apparently he had run into them also. That was where I had seen my first one, was on our farm.
How old were you?
I was 11.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I see, because I only spent my summers up here with my grandparents. So I spent most of my life in Austin and going to school there, my high school and such. So I was strictly limited to summer vacations here.
Okay.
As a child, and then I inherited the ranch when my grandparents passed. So, but they lived a long time. They were in their 90s. So,
God bless them. Wow. That's wonderful. To have them for so long in your life.
So, yeah, my parents I didn't have so long. My mother passed when she was 58, 59.
Oh.
And she just turned, I think, 59. Yeah. And then my dad died. He was in his early 60s.
Oh my. Too young.
Oh, yeah. Cancer took him, so.
Oh.
But my grandparents they were just, and it's funny because, you worry about cancer and all that kind of stuff, but my grandparents, they smoked. And my aunt, she chewed that Levi Garrett,
Oh, yeah.
She was a typical ranch lady, and I just was like, oh my gosh. The Levi snuff that used to come in the silver containers. Yeah. She dipped that stuff. And I was like, oh my God.
Oh.
And that woman, she lived to be almost 100 years old. In fact, she had to go in for some little minor thing. She was 99, and she got pneumonia in the hospital and died before her 100th birthday.
Oh.
And she was pissed. I'm telling, she was pissed.
I'll bet. Yeah. Oh my.
It was like she wanted to live to be 100. Yes. She almost made it, but my grandmother and all her sisters lived all well into their high 90s. So I would tell everybody, I'm going to be around for a while just to aggravate everybody.
There we go. Yes.
Aggravate the Bigfoot too.
Hey, yeah, you never know. That's something. Who knows? Which kind of brings you to something else with the Bigfoot. How long do you think their like a normal lifespan would be? What would your guesstimate be?
Well, I mean, you got gorillas that live into their 40s and late 40s and 50s. You have chimps that are 50 and 60. So I'm thinking that I would think that their lifespan would probably be somewhere between that and that of a human's.
Yeah.
I really do.
What about that would be in captivity, or what about in the wild?
Well, anytime you're dealing with animals in the wild, their age is not going to be as high as it is with the animals in captivity, because they don't encounter the same types of things, dangers that a wild feral chimpanzee or even a feral gorilla or whatever, any type of primate are going to encounter in the wild. It's not going to be, they're just not going to have the longevity that's there in the, domesticated versions in the zoos.
Right.
So,
but optimal conditions between
I would say, I'm just going to guess, I'm going to say 40, 50 years, maybe a little longer,
Yeah, that's about what I kind of figured too. Yeah. 45, 55. Interesting.
And you're going to see behavior changes too, where I think with some of the younger males coming up. Now, this is just my own estimation. I mean, obviously, I don't know this for a fact, but the ones that are out there now are having more encounters with humans. And I think that what's going to end up happening, it's going to be the same as with a lot of other animals. Your apex predators, they lose their fear of humans.
Yeah.
Even though we do still affect the movements of these predators because of the way we've moved into their territory and such as that. But I don't think that that's necessarily a good thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. We're moving further into their territory, between, building homes and industrial parks and everything else, and just encroaching more and reducing their hunting territory primarily, and where they can go and hide and nest, travel, and just pushing them further. Sometimes you think, okay, their population is growing, or is it just because human expansion into their territory?
Well, I think it's probably a combination of both. I think that humans also provide them a pretty good living, so to speak. I mean, we have domesticated pets and domesticated animals that they can feed on now, and we know they do it. And they can sit out in a cornfield and eat all day long. And is Farmer Brown going to know about it? Probably not. And I don't know if you've ever wandered around in a cornfield, but
yep.
I can sometimes tell you a story that I had out in the cornfield chasing a darn cat one time, but it was kind of hilarious as it turned out. But anyway, it was right after seeing the movie Signs. Oh my gosh. Anyway, but I mean, they could sit out in the middle of a cornfield or even a wheat field and feed on our food, soybeans at night, and I mean, and they eat quite well.
Yeah. Another friend of mine I was just talking with him night before last. He grew up out in Ohio, and they had huge cornfields. And he said the one time he was wandering around in the cornfield and came upon this huge cleared out area where the corn stalks were pulled down and just laying down in a big nesting area. There was chewed on corn cobs, and they were having a good old time, just nesting right there in the middle of the cornfield.
Yeah. And when the farmer goes out there and he's going to be running his tractor through that area, he's gonna see that, but he's not. I don't think he's necessarily gonna equate that to Bigfoot. He's probably gonna think deer probably did that. More than likely.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, because my friend said the one day they had there was a crop duster flew over top, and the crop duster landed and said, hey, there were about 8 Bigfoot right in the middle of that clearing in your cornfield. And he said, oh, okay.
Oh, goodness. Didn't he match with the butter and salt, did they?
Nope. Having a good old time with the corn.
Yeah. Well, you hear all the time about people finding them in their garden area. And I know that there was one guy that I listened to his family story about, that they got tired of them raiding their garden. So they literally built the Bigfoot a garden over near the forest so that they would stay out of their garden.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what the old timers used to do on the farms. Yeah, I remember my dad telling me about that they used to have a separate garden up against the tree line, separate from their family garden, so that the hairy man would have their own garden, so they wouldn't raid their garden.
Well, I guess you wouldn't be able to stand out there and argue with who's going to get the tomatoes today with the 8-foot Bigfoot. Okay, you can have them.
That's for sure. Yep. Hey, I've got an overabundance of tomatoes here. Take it, please. Okay, yeah, Gary, he lives out in Oklahoma. He says that's what they did. They had their own garden. Yep.
Oh, he had his own garden for Bigfoot?
Yep. They had a separate garden for the Bigfoot.
Does he say what part of Oklahoma he's in?
He is in Sulphur.
Oh, okay. Now, is that anywhere close to where you had your sighting in Oklahoma?
Yeah, that's, I think it was a little north of there, around the, what is that called? Can't remember. Gary, help me. What area is that? I'm just blanking out on what that general area. There's a recreational area.
Purgatory?
No, it wasn't near Purgatory. It was, I think, a little northeast of Purgatory. North of, okay, Gary says he's 20 miles north of Sulphur. Gary, what's the name of that recreation area? The Lake of the Arbuckles or something like that.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
Chickasaw National Recreation Area. Yes.
Okay.
Thank you, Gary.
I know one time I went to pick up a horse, a paint stallion over in I didn't even know Oklahoma had mountains. And
yeah.
Yeah. And I went over there in that area, in the eastern part there. And I don't even know how I got into the conversation, how we even got into a conversation about Bigfoot. But the guy was, something was said. And the guy said, oh, yeah, well, you should have been and my neighbor who lives just over the mountain there on the other side, they'd had a sighting just that morning. So was like, oh, okay. I had never thought of Oklahoma as having mountains, and I never really had thought about Oklahoma at that point in time. Of course, this has been years ago, probably 20 years ago, plus years ago, and of being an area that had Bigfoot.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it's whenever we went to Hanobia with Chuck, that's in the mountain area near, and it's right along the Arkansas Oklahoma border.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
beautiful area. Just absolutely beautiful. I highly recommend anyone, to, if you have the chance, go. It's just a gorgeous area.
It really is. Yeah. And of course, that's where you run into the lovely female Bigfoot that's got the hots for Chuck.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, she paid us a visit the one night and jiggled the doorknob. She tried to get in. She tried to get in the night that we were there. And I possibly got a photo of her twins. I'm not sure. Got a photo of something. But yeah, she likes Chuck. That's his girlfriend.
I don't think she likes it when you guys go up there with him.
Nope, she doesn't like other females. She's jealous. Yeah, I told the cabin owner that I asked him, I said, do you have a name for her? And he said, no, he never thought of a name for her. And I said, well, how about Clementine? That it just kind of popped into my mind that's her name. So,
That's super. Clementine.
Yeah, Clementine.
Good old country gal.
Yep.
Oh my, it's amazing. I mean, the stories that you come up with, and it's like and I know you probably do the same thing I do. You'd be telling something about one thing. It's just like I have tonight. And oh my gosh, I forgot about this one. And oh my gosh, I forgot about that. Yeah. And yeah, as Tom used to tell me, you need to write a book.
Well, I did. Because everybody kept telling me you have to write a book. And so finally I did. But yes, definitely write a book. Get it down and you write it down or type it or narrate it so someone else types it down for you. But get it out there. It's about I don't know, people seem to enjoy reading about all the different adventures.
I can't remember. There's a gentleman out there, and you may know his name. The name escapes me right now, but he has made a compilation of Bigfoot stories. He's been on Coast to Coast quite a few times. I always enjoy listening to him, and I can't, for the life of me right now, his name is escaping me, but he's got 3 or 4 books out there, and it's just nothing but compilations of Bigfoot stories.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, historical accounts all the way back up to modern times.
Yeah.
And I could listen to that stuff just all the time.
Oh yeah, definitely. I love listening to people relate their stories and the adventures that they've had and the journey that they've taken from experiencing Bigfoot until now, where they've gone in their life, where it's just completely changed where you're going in your life. Your plans may be to do something completely different, but once you see a Bigfoot, it's like, oh, forget it. You're jumping down this rabbit hole, and you're going to hold on with both hands, and it's going to take you on a real journey.
It's a life-changing experience. It really is.
It truly is. truly.
And my kids all the time say, you know, I used to tease and say, oh, I'm going to go find Bigfoot. And they're like, yeah, right, Mom. Well, my daughter, the first thing she says, Mom, you didn't have to go out and find Bigfoot. Bigfoot found you.
Yeah, my daughter, she just rolls her eyes. I don't think she believes me yet. Who knows? But she rolls her eyes.
Oh,
Said, okay.
Mom's delusional. Well, mine does because they have my one daughter. They lived out in East Texas, and which one lives in Tenaha and one lives in Missouri. But she used to live in Carthage, and they have stories about people seeing them cross the roads. It's a lot of road. You see a lot of road crossing stories.
Yeah.
And my daughter started finding footprints on her property out there in Tenaha.
Oh.
And when you start questioning the people up there that live there, you know, and once they, I think, kind of feel comfortable with you, they will relate to you that, oh yeah, we've seen the woolly boogers around here. They're here, you know.
Yep.
And they still refer to them as woolly boogers out there.
Do they?
Yeah.
Interesting. The old names stick around. They hold on.
Oh yeah. Well, you see a lot of accounts, historical accounts that'll call him the hairy wall men.
Yeah.
That's what they refer to him.
Yeah.
And she's practically, I mean, you can look Tenaha up on the map. It's practically in Louisiana. It's only 30 miles from Louisiana.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And very, very deep piney woods out there.
Yeah, I'll bet.
So
it's probably swampy and a lot of pine.
Well, where she lives, it's not. Where she lives, it's not too swampy, but there are plenty of swamps out there. I can tell you that. Yeah, yeah. Because I was when I got lost, it was over in Troop, Texas, and for the lignite coal mine, we were doing the survey for that, and there were areas out there that. It was so marshy. It was too dangerous to even traverse, you know. So I'd have to pull my crew out and we'd have to go around, you know. So I didn't even want to find out what was out in there because they still have alligators out there and water moccasins that are 10 feet. That's a slight exaggeration, but they're big.
Yeah. No thanks to that. No, thank you.
No. I don't care about running into copperheads and water moccasins.
Nope. Yeah, we got copperheads around here, but I really haven't seen any, but they have been seen, and rattlesnake occasionally, but mostly black snake, you know.
King snakes.
Yeah.
No, those are the good snakes.
Yeah,
though.
they are. Yeah, we used to carry them down to the barn, take care of the, any varmints that were down in the barn.
Well, I told you about my experience with the rattlesnake here, back in the first part of July.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, my.
That was rather upsetting, but it nearly got me, and it got one of my cats, and that upset me, but but it went to snake heaven.
Yep.
But that sucker was 5 feet long and had 9 rattles on it.
Oh, goodness.
It was nice, big, and fat.
Yeah, he fed well.
Yeah. And I was in the barn just yesterday evening, and there was a track going across the dust and the floor on the last night, and I was like looking very warily around those pallets. I thought, I'm going to tread lightly. Yeah. I don't want to run into. Of course, I didn't know what kind of snake it was. It was just a snake track, so I knew that there'd been one in there, and it looked like a pretty good size one. So I was like, I don't think I want to run into that, but figure out what it is. Could just be a rat snake. And if that's a rat snake, hey, they can stay there. I don't care.
Yep, it'll take of anything else out there. Oh my, oh my. Yeah, whenever it comes to water moccasins and alligators and everything else in the swamps, no thank you.
And you wonder how that, I've always wondered how they contend with those.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, those gators and crocodiles, I mean, we do have American crocodiles, and they get to be pretty good size.
Yeah.
I mean, it was just here a few days ago that somebody killed a 12-foot alligator out in East Texas someplace.
Oh, goodness.
And I mean, I think even a Bigfoot might have a little difficulty with one of those if it latched onto them.
I would think so. Yeah. I would think so. Boy. Yeah, that, who knows? They may just respect one another and try to avoid one another unless the gator runs into a small, a little one. But boy.
It would be an opportunistic kill, if a gator got a little one. But
right.
I don't think, Big Mama, I don't think would allow a little one out of their sight that readily. But you never know.
Yeah, especially in that area.
I've seen them take down monkeys and baboons in Africa.
Yeah.
So.
Yep. Oh my.
And they get their fair share of people too.
That's what I hear occasionally. It's unfortunate, and I don't know, careless.
Well, that's the law of the land.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
The biggest and baddest survive. And I think the truth of the matter is the humans aren't the biggest and baddest out there.
No. Nope. We're stupid prey. Sometimes we're dull, we're slow, and we don't listen. We put earbuds on and listen to Bigfoot podcasts.
Yeah. I'll never forget when Tom asked me, well, how in the world did he get in there and you not wake up? Tom, I had the earbuds in, and believe it or not, I was listening to you and Will, okay?
Oh, my. Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
He got a good chuckle about that.
You wonder, you may have, God knows, what happened, but maybe you startled it in some way, and it just threw the can out of a reaction. And
well, I think that's exactly. It's funny that one of my friends on Facebook, Shelley, we were discussing that one time, and I said, I don't think it actually. I think it just tossed it at me, because I think if it threw it at me, I wouldn't be here telling you this story.
Yeah, really.
And I said, I think I may have woke up, because as crazy as it sounded when I was telling the story to Will and them, I said, I really felt like I was coming to from having been knocked out. That was exactly what I felt, likened it to.
Yeah.
And I've only passed out before once in my life, and it was from something else. It wasn't because I got hit in the head. I just, I have low blood pressure, and I just blacked out.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what it felt like, and only I had a huge knot on my head, and try going to work and explaining that to people.
Oh.
And yeah.
Yeah, what do you say?
I didn't have a black eye. I just had a big knot in the middle of my head that was black and blue for the longest, What the heck did you do? Well, let me tell you.
Yeah,
But,
what kind of
I had
story?
well, I had been telling people stories about them being on the property for such a long time that everybody was just kind of like, really? I don't think they disbelieved me. I mean, I think they really kind of like went along with it, like, okay. Or maybe they were just being nice. I don't know.
Oh,
Well, they didn't send out the guys with the straight jackets yet. So
well, that's good.
okay.
That's good.
So,
Yeah, I know sometimes, heck, I'll snort or something whenever I wake up, or, just half sleep. And then, so who knows, maybe, something
wake yourself
happened.
up.
Yeah. And, but yeah, because normally, they won't try to really hurt you. So I think it was more an accident than anything that it hit you. And unfortunately, but fortunately, it wasn't.
Unfortunately for me.
Yes. Unfortunately, not any harder, and not intentionally. I don't think it was intentional. I really don't.
Well, I never did too.
Yeah.
I just, because, when we were talking about it before, even with Will and Tom, I said, I really think it was just a accidental.
Yeah.
It got lucky that it hit me,
Yeah.
and it was kind of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, one of those situations.
Oh,
but
my.
I didn't much like the idea that it had gotten into the cabin. That was what
Yeah.
kind of scared me. It really did.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, well, that's it. So that's when I just decided to move on up here into the mobile home. And I was like, no, I'm through with that.
Yeah, because something like that, whenever they get that bold, I mean, really, normally they'll respect, the doors, unless you really, do something to piss them off, in which case, they'll, break in. But no, this one, he was bold to come in like that. Wow.
Well, the reality that hit me was that even if I fixed the door frame,
Yeah.
it had already realized that it could just push it open.
Yeah. Yeah.
That it would happen again. And next time I might not be around to tell the story.
Right. No, it's good that you got the mobile home.
So,
How soon after that did you get the mobile home?
it was about a month. Yeah.
Okay. And I'll bet you that month went on forever.
Oh yeah. Well, I hate, and I don't mean this to sound like I'm bragging or anything, but I don't really scare real easy.
Yeah.
But that episode did kind of make me. It frightened me. I won't lie to you.
Oh yeah.
It did.
Yeah. No, I'm the same as you. I really don't scare very easily. But heck, something like that, something breaking in, and especially even by accident, hitting you on the head, with something. No, that's just really overstepping a boundary and just way too bold. Now, have you done anything to try to discourage them from coming around the house?
Well, I did put this 7-foot fence all around.
Well,
but it was there when the young one was out there watching us have the barbecue.
Yeah.
Now at the time I had still not cleared all the brush in the backyard on the west side of the property.
Mm-hmm.
That I had the fence around, so that's what it was hid in. I have since had all of that cleared out, and I've also the gentleman that has been helping me with my barn and stuff, he's been slowly clearing stuff around here.
Okay.
And I have, and I think I've had some good footprints that I have, and I need to send some of that stuff to you so you can look at it.
Yeah.
Because the guys had sent me an alarm, which I've now put on my gate, and it's a flashing red light, and it's really a loud alarm. And I was going out loading some stuff in the back of my truck one morning, and I mean, you do stuff and you never even think to look at the ground. I now look before I walk, even around my paths, because I have had some footprints. I've got a footprint I'll show you that just was like a month ago, and it was around the mobile home.
Oh.
And yeah, so I know they're coming in, but they're coming through my gate because they can get in the gate. And my guy that did my fence did not finish the gate. He was supposed to make me a solid gate so that it would be solid there, and he didn't do that. So I'm using a standard, just Tractor Supply fence gate.
Okay.
And you've got the panels there, and they can easily just slip through it or crawl over it, for that matter.
Oh yeah.
And so, so they've been around the mobile home here, but I was loading some stuff, and I think it's been about 1.5 years ago that this happened. I looked down there on the ground, and I don't know why, but I did. And all of a sudden, I see these footprints, and some of them, one of them, I had actually stepped on the edge of one, but there are some of the clearest footprints you ever in your life saw, and they were 2 different sizes. And I'll send you the pictures on them. And I had put them out there on Facebook, and I had some lady trying to tell me, those are bear prints. And I'm like, no, they're not bear prints. We have black bears in Texas. Well, yeah, I know we have black bears in Texas. I'm well aware of that. But for a black bear to have made a footprint that big, first off, obviously she'd not ever seen bear prints, because it didn't look anything like a bear print. And I, having spent 17 years in Alaska, trust me, I'm not a bear expert by any stretch of the imagination, but I have seen grizzly and I have seen black bear footprints. I know what they look like. And this was no bear print. And there was actually 2 different sizes of footprints out there. So, and I've had other footprints out here. And like I said, before all this other started with me seeing one out there by the cabin, I had a kid that was doing the stalls, and he'd actually seen footprints out there. And he was like, who in the world would be out here walking around and all these stickers and stuff barefoot? And I'm like, what? And that's when his grandmother and I walked up there and looked at what he was still, and I was like, honey, that's not human footprints. And he's like, well, what is it? And I just never remember Sandra kind of giving me that side look like, should you tell him or not?
Yeah, if he's questioning, then he doesn't know.
Yeah. So I told him, and then he was like, really? She said, that's when she chimed up. She says, he watches all the Finding Bigfoot shows. So, and all of us Bigfoot enthusiasts make fun of that show.
Yeah.
But as ridiculous as it was at some times, there were moments in it I would just like go, oh my God.
Yes.
That you have to admit that they brought Bigfoot out into the open, to the forefront.
I agree.
That it was there's no longer the stigma attached to, saying, hey, I saw one,
Right. Right. Yeah, people are more willing to share now. And
Yeah.
no, I agree. That's about the only good thing that I can see, about it. It's interesting, listening to the stories, the town halls and everything. I've been on one of their episodes and sat in on the town hall, so I kind of know what they do um, during that town hall. But no, it's interesting. And no, it's a good thing that they did bring it out into the open, and it's almost mainstream now, which is wonderful.
Yeah, that's a good thing. I guess what I just do not understand to this day, and I'm sure you probably share this with me, is the people that try to fake all this stuff.
Yeah, yeah. It's they try to, with me, they'll post photos occasionally in the group, or else they'll send me messages, or else whenever I'm out at speaking somewhere, they'll come up to me and try to tell me a story about something. And no, you can pretty much tell the hoaxers from the real people, the real witnesses.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can look it up at Marble Falls, which is 12 miles from me here. Now they have historical accounts of an actual abduction of a girl that was tending sheep and goats over in the hills out south of Marble Falls there.
Oh my.
Yeah. And I mean, it's actually historically recorded. And they ended up, I mean, she was abducted. And as far as I know, she wasn't harmed. But now my grandfather was the first one that ever told me. He did tell me about that story later. And when I was older, not was when I was younger, because it probably would have scared the dickens out of me.
Yeah.
But she was actually found over near Blanco, and that there were actually two different stories on that thing, that they said that they tracked it to a cave and killed it. And then there's other ones that said that no, that it got away. Now, my grandfather always said that no, it got away. That, I think that if they tracked it to a cave and killed it, that thing would have been paraded through town.
Oh my, yeah.
Down Main Street.
Yeah.
So yeah. I don't think that story, that one didn't hold water, but I think, the one that my daddy Tab told me, it probably was true, that it got away. But she wasn't harmed. I mean, she was traumatized. I mean, who wouldn't be?
Oh,
But
goodness, yeah.
she was.
Do you remember how old she was, or what the story said how old she was?
I'm thinking in her teens or late teens, somewhere in there.
Okay, that makes sense.
I don't remember even if the story said how. I'm sure it did, and I just don't remember.
Yeah.
But it was a historical account, and it's actually written up. You can look it up. It's out there on on the internet.
Yeah, I'll have to look.
Of course, everything's out there on the internet now.
That's true. Yeah, I've heard a few stories, although it's where something does happen. They'll a young juvenile male will snatch a teenage girl or a young female and human, and yeah, I don't want to say it, but he'll do something to her.
Well, a lot of people don't. God, how can you say it? The problem with getting chimpanzees, we kind of alluded to this earlier, with, the conversation about, the male Bigfoot getting upset when there's males around you or me, and the conversation.
Right.
They do.
Mhm.
And chimps are the same way. If you have chimps for pets, there comes a point in time that a lot of these male chimps had to go to zoos and such because they started looking at the females in the family as mates.
Yeah.
Now, as bizarre as that may sound, it's hard to explain to a sexually mature chimp that he can't have his way with a human female.
Yeah.
Because he will try.
Yeah.
Now, I've not ever heard of that in gorillas. I'm not saying that it does not happen. I've not ever heard of it in orangutans. I've never heard of it in gibbons.
Yeah.
But I certainly have with chimpanzees. A chimpanzee is an entirely different beast. It's, of all the primates, it's the most closely related to humans, which might explain a lot of our similarities in behavior. But anyway, we probably don't want to go there. We could go on with that discussion for a long time.
Oh, yes. Yeah, we could.
But yeah, they do.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but they do. And that's when they have to go elsewhere. They can no longer be in the home. I mean, they're cutesy pie when they're little. They're not so cute when they grow up and they're, they weigh 150, 160 pounds and they have 3 times to 5 times the strength of a human man. So,
Yep. And they can no longer be around.
Nope.
Just keep them safe in the zoo with their own kind.
Yeah. And I mean, they do horrible things to their own kind. So
true. Oh my! But yeah, there are quite a few stories out there of the younger male Bigfoot snatching up human females, and God knows, like the what is that David Paulides 411 of the missing people, if it's missing females, is that what happened to them? Yeah, who knows?
Well, this is true. Who knows? There's a lot of missing people out there.
Yeah.
And I do realize that when you're going on hikes and stuff, that there's a lot of things that can happen to people. Because let's face it, we do stupid things.
Yeah, we do.
But there's a lot of weird and unexplainable episodes that happen out there that, people just can't figure out where did they go? What happened?
Yeah. Yeah, they just disappear and DeShizzle, he comments that there are stories of Native girls disappearing and coming back 7 years later. That's an unusual time frame there. Coming back, you don't hear that. If anyone,
yeah, and you hear about hybrid children and such as that,
right?
And a chimpanzee you cannot have a hybrid child with you can't they don't have the same chromosomes as chromosomal number as what we have. So
no.
We can't hybridize with a chimpanzee. So end of story.
Which is good.
Yeah.
Unless scientists get involved with.
Oh well, God, we don't want them involved. But then I think the Nazis tried it, and I think the Russians tried it, and no.
Yeah.
It never worked out for them. So.
Mm.
And there are stories about, they tried to say in Russia that that they had a Bigfoot that they had found, and that the children that were produced from men in the village that had their way with this Bigfoot, or what they described as a Bigfoot, and they just said she was a hairy woman.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, they've since now found out that she wasn't a Bigfoot at all. She was actually an African.
Yeah, I think I did read that they had taken DNA from her, from I guess one of her grandsons.
Kin that's still, that's still alive. And then I guess they were able to exhume some of the children, and and I just think, oh my gosh, how sad a situation can you possibly have existed in?
I know that'd be horrible. And you're taken all the way from Africa up to Russia and thought of as an animal.
Yeah. Very, very sad situation.
Oh,
and she had actually escaped, I think, from another area, and was literally living as a feral person out in the woods, and that's how they came to find her.
Okay.
So, yeah.
And of course, an African person would be highly unusual.
Oh yeah, in that area there. I mean, those people would never. They wouldn't have never seen anybody like that.
Right.
They wouldn't even. I can understand how they might think that. That there's such a vast difference. That they might relate to it as being, animalistic. But I mean, people that have been exposed to different cultures and different races, you're not going to look at people that way.
Yeah.
But they did say that she did have, oh gosh, I'm trying to think of the terminology for hyper hairiness.
Oh.
That she had that. Oh gosh, the term is escaping me right now.
Yeah, I know I'm having a few senior moments myself here tonight.
Hypertrichosis.
Yes.
Hypertrichosis.
Yes.
Took me a minute, but I got it. Hypertrichosis. And that's the werewolf syndrome.
Yeah.
And so that would make her very unusual looking.
Something like, if she had that condition, then that would be, I guess, semi-understandable. But even so, to treat her like that, just to...
Oh, I know, it was sad situation.
Oh,
I read that and I was just like, oh my God, my heart breaks for her,
Yeah.
She was just as human as they were.
Yeah. Goodness. Well, Forrest, it is 10 o'clock here. I know it's 9 o'clock there. Have you already fed your livestock and get...
Oh, yeah. I did that earlier because I planned ahead.
Okay, good. Good. I'd be afraid of you going out there.
No, I wouldn't be going down there at 9 o'clock. That's why I planned ahead.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I'm not going down there in the dark. So... Because they seem to like to hang out at the barn. That's the reason I've got my barn doors all chained up now. So I could tell you some more stories about run-ins down there. Besides, actually, that was the closest I'd had an encounter when I was down there. Was here the other evening, and that kind of disturbed me. But I can some other point in time if you want to hear about it. Yeah, I've had a few. I've seen them down there at the barn, and they had been getting in the barn at one point in time, and I have to chain my doors now because with padlocks and everything. Because you haven't lived till you go out there and find bags of feed scattered all over the place, ripped open, and then drug out into the pasture, and I'm like, well, who was in here having a good old time?
Uh-huh. Yep.
So,
And they're not contributing anything.
yeah, they're not paying for that stuff.
No. Yeah, put them to work. It'd be different, but geez, come
They
on.
clean some stalls or something. I give them a bag of feed every once in a while.
Yeah. Show them the shovel. Hey,
Yeah.
go to work.
Work for your keep around here.
Yes. No, I'd love to have you back on again, and hopefully next time we'll be able to. We won't have so many problems, but at least we got you on the phone, and the audience are able to hear you nice and clear. So this has worked out really well. So which is wonderful. But no, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your stories and everything. I do appreciate that so much.
Well, I appreciate it. You asking me, I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I always enjoy chatting with you anyway, Mary.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, this has been fun.
I love hearing your stories.
Oh my. Yeah,
I want to hear your stories. Quit talking about me.
Yeah, we'll have to swap stories sometime. But okay, yeah, we'll get you on again another time, and hopefully we'll get things straightened out. I'll switch over from StreamYard because StreamYard just isn't working for me anymore. Now, Will, he uses Zoom. Is that what he uses?
Well, he switched away from that to something else, and I don't even know what it's called now. Oh. He just calls me up and says, "Do this, do that, da da da." Okay, I'll do this, I'll do that, and it works. So I'm technologically challenged, sweetie. I can't even set my And my daughter just laughed. She says, "Mom, you can remember all these dang, names for all these apes and ancient men and all this, stuff, but you can't hook up a damn TV." No, I can't. I admit I'm stupid when it comes to that.
Yep. I had the dog.
That was not my forte.
Oh, same here. I had the dog on this time whenever I first got StreamYard, just trying to figure it out. And now they threw a monkey wrench into it. And so, okay.
Oh, gosh. It's like, that's it. I'm through with it.
Yep. I'm done. All right. So we'll let you go, and we'll have to arrange another time and get you back on.
Well, I'd love it. And if people have questions and they send them to you, hey, get a list of questions together and I'll do my best to try to answer them for them.
Will do. All right. Thank you so much.
Well, I enjoyed it. Thank you.
All right. You have a good evening.
You have a blessed one.
Oh, thank you.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, guys. That was wonderful. I do appreciate her. Forrest and I, we've been chatting off and on for a year or so now, and a couple years, and finally got to have a good conversation with her. And I said, I got to get her on. Got to get her on the podcast. Sometimes I'm afraid of. I don't want to offend people by asking them to come on the show and, or think that, hey, I'm getting too big for my britches, that, nah. I appreciate it so much, everyone, that you joining us and participating. Everyone had such wonderful questions. And if I missed any of your questions, I do apologize. But we'll we will get Forrest on again. And I do have another guest scheduled for, let me check my calendar, okay? I will, let's see. Okay, September, September 17. We have Suzanne. She hasn't given me permission yet to use her full name. I also right now just say Suzanne. She's an American she lives out west presently, but she married a gentleman from Sweden and lived in Sweden for a number of years. Well, she had some Bigfoot experiences here in America. And then whenever she moved to Sweden, she discovered that there are Bigfoot there also. So she will be on September 17th, and she's fascinating. Her discoveries that she has made is so important. What she has learned and what she shared with her discoveries. So I do highly urge you to maybe jump in on September 17th for that podcast and watch that one. Hopefully it'll be a little bit better than that I'll be able to get photos up and videos and so on, hopefully. I'm going to try some of the other platforms, since StreamYard is going screwy. So, all right, guys, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. I do appreciate all of you. And so I think we shall end the podcast, and I usually end it with a short little video. Let me try it again. Let me see if I can put my end screen on there. Nope. It says I got to upgrade. If I want to play any videos, I have to upgrade, into the paid plan, which I'm not going to do. All right. Thank you, guys. God bless. We appreciate you also. Thank you so much. All right. God bless. And Monkey Wench out.